Why, good morning, everybody. And today I just wanted to review all the things we've done to the trailer. That's Mocha Boba's trailer. And so we had a whole, like almost a year now, of where we had a ton of mold. There was mold everywhere. And so we had to take apart everything and sand everything down, use a mold spray killer. Like, it was a tremendous amount of upkeep trying to get mold off of everything. And a big part of it was that we had this trailer in a very wet, cold, I guess shed or something, this huge warehouse. And it was an old warehouse that had a lot of problems. So it took a bit of time to get it out of the warehouse and then redo literally everything. And so I'm showing you the inside of all the things that Brian has been working on, not me. He pretty much tells me, get out of the way. So here we are inside the trailer. Let me close the door. It's supposed to be warm and dry inside, and it's cold and wet outside right now. So as you can tell, we got plastic up here. We used high-end foam to insulate. A lot of these things we got from Home Depot and Lowe's. So if you ever decide to build a trailer out, Home Depot and Lowe's are good choices. Expensive, so just price check between the two. And many things we got online too. Webstront, and Beaver. Surprisingly, Beaver is excellent resource. They do make quality products. I've checked them out. I'll put the link below. And in here, we built a shelf cut to the shape of our wall here because it is concave. And I got one of our syrups, Tirani's syrup, to make sure that we can hold syrups up here without them falling over and out onto the floor, and make sure that the label is visible so we know what we're pouring, because one day we may end up having an employee and we need to make sure that things are very clear, easy to find. Not that you have much room to move in anyway, but we just want to make it the workflow easy so you're not twirling around inside a trailer trying to find things. And so we have the fan on right now. There's our fuse box, or not our fuse box, but I think you know what I mean, our breaker box. And we have it properly labeled, and our inspection is in just a few days. So we're all kind of high stress over here, but everything is pretty much done. Here's our bar refrigerator. That's where I'm going to keep all of our milks and things that need to be refrigerated and stored away, because we plan on doing big events with this trailer. And so we need to be able to hold on to a lot of product for events. We may do some like routes and stuff, so I need to make sure I have enough product available. We are still planning ice. We're gonna put a ice thing either here or on the other side. So I'll just take you from the door here. That's our door. And over here is our sink. This is our food prep sink. I'm a left-handed person. I do everything left-handed except play the guitar or instruments for some reason. And so this is the smallest food prep sink that we were able to get, and we got it on discount. So here's our sink. Here's our required 3-sink system, and our hot water does work. We installed an Insta Hot, and it works so quickly. Like, it's really quick, less than 10 seconds. So you're not gonna have a problem washing your hands here. And we do have a built-in hand washing sink. We kind of just made it on the side here just to keep it out of the way. It's right there. And then Brian did all the extra varnishing for our countertops. And the only contribution I can claim is I picked out the stain color. So here's the stain color. It's a nice burgundy reddish color. And then of course our outlet here, well labeled. And these windows we got from Viver. I got them, I don't remember if I got them on discount or not, but I don't think I did. And I bought 2 of them. And all this cabinetry, everything here was built custom. So we had Brian and a neighbor help. Our neighbor kind of built the frames for the doors, and then Brian had literally cut out all the wood and put this all together. And I guess the only contribution I can claim is the stain again, and maybe some varnishing, and that's about it. Maybe a little bit of light sanding. And I'm gonna have to say, do not try this on your own. It does take expert people to do these kind of things. It was way more than I thought I could do. So here are the doors. Pretty cool. And I had them open this way because this one is facing outwards, this one is facing inwards. And I put it that way because it is designed for where we're going to be located in the trailer. So we have one person that's going to be standing here at the serving window. And so if they need something that's in their station, they're going to be able to open this cabinet door without having to have to move over and be inconvenienced by how the door opens. So our lights are LED. We had to replace them a couple of times. We have 3 of them here, as you can see, and we also ended up getting a new fan for our ceiling right here. And I had to stand below it because, you know, girls have longer hair and we didn't want hair to get sucked through the fan. So it ended up being just fine. So if you need to replace your cargo vent here, this is an excellent product. We got this off of Viver, I think, right? Or Amazon. I got it off of Amazon. So it's just an RV fan. And some things that you're going to be able to find to replace parts in your cargo trailer, you're going to find them on Amazon too. And Viver promotes products and appliances on Amazon as well. So it's a good starting point. I don't care what anybody says that Amazon, you know, poor quality stuff. No, you can find great stuff. But just always look at the reviews, see if anyone else is using them, and just be cognizant of what you're using. Because again, we got these lights off of Amazon as well. Oh, no.
Home Depot.
Oh, never mind. Home Depot. We got them at Home Depot, but our last lights were... Oh, dang. Okay, so watch out for Home Depot too. I know I promoted Home Depot earlier because we did get a lot of our wood there, and we got definitely some things to help build this out from Home Depot. But always just take a look at it because you don't quite know. Like me, if you don't know quite what you're looking at, you definitely have someone who knows what they're doing electronically, and carpentry maybe. Take a look at it and make sure that you're buying something that's a quality product. So, and what's cool about these lights that you can't see is that you can change the amount of illumination that it has. No, this one. We'll show you this one. It comes out and then
over here if you want to.
Yeah, so over here, we can just change the, oops, let's see if I can do this. Can change this and it will change the color. I don't know if you can tell, but it's nice and warm color now. So when Brian's not around, this is the color I'm gonna have. I just love the warmer colors. It just makes me feel like in a very cozy environment, very warm and inviting. And so this bright light is more for, we need some extra illumination. It needs to be extra clear what's happening in here, but it'll just depend on who's working in here. They can change it, but we're gonna try to keep it at 1 illumination.
Yeah, this one, daylight.
Because Shannon needs a daylight. And of course, we actually kept the window from the trailer. This trailer in particular is over 30 years old. There's some things I kept that are part of the original build, which is the doors. We sanded down the white paint. It was nasty, but I kind of kept it its kind of vintage look, and we just varnished the crap out of it and make sure that mold can't get to the wood, because again, that was our biggest problem. And then just recently we had discovered some more mold on the very bottom back end of the trailer, and I just about lost my mind. Right over here, I'll show you. So here's the back of the trailer. And so we've been varnishing the back of this like hardcore. And here's the back wood of the countertop. And it goes all the way down, and at the very bottom, it had mold. Like just like right here at the very bottom, and I about lost it. And so Brian sanded it down, used mold killer, and we put on like 6 layers of varnish, and it soaked it right up. And I just wanted to make sure that the varnish is nice and slick here, so that we don't have any mold problem. And we're just trying to make everything so varnished that there's going to be no potential of mold getting on anything, especially since this is going to be in all sorts of weather conditions. And if we ever end up selling this trailer, we're going to know that it's going to be pretty much the most mold resistant it can possibly be. So excuse my bangs. I just got a haircut a few weeks ago, and it's been an interesting journey. I just can't stay away from bangs, I guess. It's a nice beautiful day today, and here is the view from this angle. We got the fan going because we are still putting on layers and layers of varnish. And I'll show you the inside plumbing, which has always been a big thing in building out food carts. And if it was just me, I don't think I could ever get this far in building out plumbing. And we've been offered help by actual plumbers here in the neighborhood, and which was so nice of them. And being offered help is just it feels really good, like you're part of a community and people are supportive. And we've had a lot of questions about if we're going to open up here in the park, and due to just like who's part of the COA, because we live in a COA, we decided not to move forward. We did a couple of events when we first started to think about doing like events and things here at the COA park, but that was under different board members, and it was a very learning experience, trying to learn how to make coffee, learn how to make bubble tea, and make it good. And I think I ended up drinking half of the products I brought and throwing away a third. So if you ever start a food truck, you definitely are going to be learning a lot, and you need to have a budget for learning, which no one ever talks about, this budget for learning, because if you're as dull as I am when it comes to a completely new and different industry, Always plan a large budget for learning. No one wants to pay too much, but I also don't believe in paying a consultant $300 an hour just to learn some of the basic stuff, which you're going to learn, you're going to crash course through. It doesn't matter which way you go about learning a new industry, you're going to need a budget for crash coursing. And I'm definitely one of those people who needs to save up money for crash coursing, and definitely review all the little things from the State Department, because you do have to get approved by the state to use a food truck, a cargo trailer, to prepare and or create food items, and coffee is a food item, which in the state of Washington, they have an exception over the espresso machine. So you don't need this giant $14,000 vent, which if we had to put one in here, it would be a monster. So thank you, Food Truck Nation, for advocating for the food truck industry, because it is it's becoming so popular that policies and procedures and things like that are evolving and changing, and some of it's not going in the favor and feasibility of having food trucks, and some are. So it's kind of like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And so if you have any questions about the food truck build out part, you can always email us at mochaboba@gmail.com. Very, very few coffee companies offer free words of wisdom. I wouldn't really call it advice, but it would be just like maybe some tip or trick, or maybe some insight that can help you understand what you'd be walking into, because we paid cash. I've paid cash, and I work my butt off in the industry that I work in, and I work in healthcare. So I've worked literally my butt off, and I take huge risks just being what I am in the healthcare industry. It's always a risk of injury and everything else. You know, if someone gets angry, you can get caught in frivolous lawsuits and stuff. So it's a very volatile, unpredictable industry. And I use all of my income, all of my savings, as much as I could afford, to pursue a different industry. And here we are, 2 years later. I thought it would take us just this summer to build out this trailer, but it took 2 years, and we've had to deal with all sorts of unpredictable things like the mold, weather, and of course it's been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster with all those things, because the setback is quite great. So if you're going to build out a trailer, make sure you're using products that you know are going to be watertight, water resistant, and mold resistant, because food trucks, I would think, are very susceptible to that. A lot of food trucks, they have all metal on the interior. It looks like a commissary kitchen, or just very clean. But I really wanted something that was going to be warm and inviting on the inside. We wanted to use wood, but when you do wood, it comes at a different price point, and that means you have to spend a lot of money on varnish, get the gallon size, and you got to really make efforts to make sure all your wood is protected from those things, so that you can be competitive on the interior with other food trucks to keep your costs down. So I love this style. It kind of reminds me of dodgeball, how the personal gym looked at the very end with the warm colors. So I tell everybody that, and they don't know what I'm referring to. But if you ever see dodgeball with, I think it's with Ben Stiller, you're gonna absolutely understand what I'm talking about. So I digress. Here is the plumbing. Let me make sure you can see it. Oh my gosh, this is just as hard as other food truck videos I've seen. But we have our tanks here, and we have our G traps, and we have our lines, and we have our CO2 monitor and our InstaHot. And if you come over here on this side, this is the end of our food truck. You come on this side, there's also a little cabinet door, and we keep our tank in here too. We use extra big tanks. They're extra heavy, so when we're at events, we're not going to run out of water. We're gonna have plenty of space for trash water. And it's dark in here, but here is our setup over here. That's where the InstaHot is, and our plumbing, and we did everything kind of extra because the labor and industries in Washington State, though they require kind of a flimsy plastic over our electrical lines, we used the best quality we could, because this is unlikely to be taken apart in the future, and we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to have any problems with our electrical lines. We weren't going to have any problems with our piping, so everything we used was like top grade. And we made our hot lines red, we made our regular cool water blue, and we have valves put in place so that we can troubleshoot if there's leaks. There'd be less damage. And of course, our boards on the bottom here, our flooring, as you can see here. This gray plank we got, you don't want to look at me. This flooring right here, let's see if I can show you. Yeah, this flooring here is we got it at Home Depot. Oh, you see me? There we go. We got this at Home Depot, and the board underneath it, we put like a rubber sealant all over it, like 3 layers of it. And it's like, I think it's an inch thick or half inch. I'll have to ask Brian. But it was twice the thickness that we needed, because I was worried that the weight of everything inside the trailer, it might make the board bow or unable to tolerate the weight. So we used a pretty hard wood, and then I had the vinyl planks on top that are waterproof, because we deal with drinks, and you know, we couldn't have a leak anywhere. The espresso machine had leaked once all over Brian. It was spraying all over him, and he was just staring at me like, what? And so we had to turn it off, and it was still leaking water, and we got water. This is where our espresso machine's gonna be, and we got water like all over here. And thank goodness we had all this varnished to begin with. We put more varnish on it after the trim was put in. And so we had to get towels, we had to get all the things to clean up the water. And I had that peace of mind that if there were to be snow or rain, or if we were to flood in an area, that our wood would be salvageable. We would not have to worry so much. I mean, of course, address water, but I wouldn't be losing my cabinetry. I wouldn't be losing my flooring, because it all is super watertight and resistant. And as long as we maintain the varnish and make sure the rubber seal on the bottom is still intact and good, and our metal, we ended up sanding all the rust and spraying it with rust killing black paint, spray paint that also seals the metal. We used lots of spray bottles to cover the metal, and so this 30-year-old trailer has really been refurbished to the T. And the outside, we ended up there's lots of dings and scratches and scrapes on the paint. And so we ended up just taking some rubbing alcohol and things to get the old nasty stickers that have faded. We got those off of the trailer, things that are no longer necessary. We got those off, and now we are just putting on the extra layers on inside with the wood, and outside we were just going to be lightly spraying it with an exterior paint that's made for excuse me. There we go. Sorry, we just closed that. Made for this type of material. And we took off the tire that was here. You might be able to tell where it was once at, but this is where our logo is going to be. And right over here, we're going to put another logo. Super cool. And then we ended up also, and though we didn't have to, we wanted, these things are pretty old and rusty, and we ended up getting a new thing here. Where is it? I'm looking at the wrong thing. Right here, this thing here, we ended up getting a new one, and we bought it from Beaver. You can probably see it there. And we got a propane cover and a propane stand. It's because we use propane for the Insta-Hot. And then here's our outlet. You see that? So we can power the trailer should we not have access to a side of power, and super exciting. You may have already know on our social media, we replaced the awning. The last one was 30 years old. It was gross. And we could totally use this for when we're out on job sites. I am thinking maybe one day, maybe next year, I'll put one on this side where we're going to be serving out of. Right now we have a tent already, outdoor event tent. It's not, well, it doesn't have any of our logo stuff on it, but I do have some marketing stuff I'm going to put out as well once we do events. And if we do a route or have to stay put in one spot, then I can bring out some flags and marketing and a large menu so people can see it. Yeah. So now you got kind of an update of where we're at with our mobile trailer. So we're just a few days away from the inspector coming out and giving us our LNI insignia. And then after that, we're gonna go back through the food department and make sure that we get checked off. And that way, when we're ready for another event, we can start. And again, lesson I learned from starting something I had no clue about. Always set a budget for learning. I bought too much stuff, not the right stuff. I had one where I'm like, I bought cashew milk, and we use lactate and regular cow's milk, and I'm not a huge coffee drinker, so I forgot to get cream for the coffee so people can have cream in their coffee. So, you're going to learn pretty hard, and you can go trial by fire like I have and learn everything the hard way. Or you can study up and make minor mistakes and learn from them and just be more prepared the next time. But always create a budget, because mistakes are costly. I wouldn't say terribly costly, but they can be. And the reason why we ended up doing a food truck is because we want to be able to move around. I'm a person who loves to move around. I don't like to be in one spot all the time. I can barely tolerate a full day at one spot. So it's something that was very intriguing and interesting. And you set your own hours, which is you work all the time. When you hear that, when I hear that, you set your own hours, work your own hours, it means you're going to be working all the time. So, and this way you can close your doors at a certain hour. If there's not enough crowd, if there's not enough foot traffic, you can always move, and your business can survive that way. You can create routes that you visit, and you have routine visitors who are looking forward to your products. So on your visit, and that's where we decided to do the mobile food truck instead. And all we do is coffee and tea and espresso. We are an espresso bar. So again, if you guys have any tips, tricks, words of wisdom that you would like to hear from us, I pretty much think I covered most of them. Or you have anything you suggest, you can always comment below. So take a look at the links below in the description and stay tuned for the next chapter.